What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm gonna tell you. Alright, so 3 ideas have been running through my mind since yesterday. I didn't make the videos right away because I wanted to understand what I was gonna say before I said it. So it took some time. But for these 3 things, I feel like they all go together, but they're all so their own entity that I'm gonna make 3 different videos today. The 3 things I would like to discuss is, the first thing I want to talk about is distractions. Distractions, guys. I want to talk about that. The second part is going to be labels. The labels we give, the labels we accept, our perception on these things. And then the third thing I'm going to talk about is coming to an understanding. So that's my goal. Just so you are aware, I am expecting distractions to happen during this video, and that has been planned for. So, for the most part. But, okay, so what are distractions? When I was in the midst of my being distracted, I didn't know what was actually distracting me. And from my experiences and other people's perceptions, that also made me look insane. It did. I would get in these mindsets that I could not understand why I'm not understanding, right? So that feeling distracted me more, in sometimes a positive way, and then sometimes in a negative way. So the big distractions that I see, well, there's 3 really big ones that are coming to my mind right now. If you watched my challenging government ideologies video, then you would know that I do think that television is a huge distraction, because you're just taking it in. Whatever they want you to take in is what you're taking in. It's a huge distraction, and it's comfortable. You don't have to do anything. You just chill and watch it. And that has become a norm in our lives. And that's not an assumption. I'm not presuming that you do that. If you don't do that, like, cool. But from around the people that I spent time with in my life, and the people that I've seen and my experiences, we spent a lot of time watching TV together, apart, but the TV was always on. The second one is cell phones. Oh my gosh, like, yeah, I still use a cell phone, but when I'm with other people, I started putting it away. And that was interesting to do, because when I would put it away, everybody else would still have theirs out. And I didn't want to interrupt them. Obviously, they felt like what they were looking at was more important than having a conversation with me. And that didn't offend me. Maybe that it was important. When I was looking at my phone, I learned a lot, because that's how I utilized it. But when I was able to put that distraction down and observe how it is affecting people, I was able to see that, yeah, it is a distraction. Because when I'm by myself, I'll look at my phone. If there's something I want to know, I'm going to look at it. And guys, it's a little computer in your pocket. It's amazing. But when I'm around other people, I had to put that down, because there's something to learn from them too. And even if what you're learning is that they are distracted by their phones, that's something to know. That's something to see. Doesn't mean you have to act and fix it. I could, guys, I could just have taken all their phones and smashed them on the ground if I felt like that was my right. It's not hard to do. Intervening is not hard to do. Acting is not hard to do. But I didn't do that, because it's not my property, and I respect them for going their paths. So, but yeah, this is a pretty big distraction. And my getting rid of that distraction was an interesting experience as well, which I'll tell you about. I'm going to tell you about that before I tell you about the third distraction that I'm seeing. But the phone thing, so I felt one day that I just was being confined by these things, that I wanted to just break free, but I didn't know how to do that. So I would do really extreme acts that didn't make sense to the people around me. I would, my first phone that I had, I not my very first phone, but the first one that I was like, oh, whoa, I don't like how this is feeling, is I took it out of my pocket. And I had a hard time thinking about letting it go because I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the videos. Like, it was a hard time being able to be like, yeah, I don't need this. There's other ways to do this. So I made a extreme decision. I took out the battery, took the SIM card, snapped it, and then threw the phone in the trash. And at that moment, it felt like, yeah, I threw $600 in the trash. Like, that's what it felt like because that's what I paid for at one point. I'm not saying that was still its value at the time. I tend to hold on to things for a really long time. But so I snapped it. And I told the people around me that I did this because they're not going to have a way to contact me now unless they find me, right? And I could see, now that I didn't have my phone, I could see how that made them uncomfortable because of their words and their actions. They would say, how am I going to contact you now? What if there's an emergency? I think you should get another phone. So since I saw that they felt uncomfortable and were fearful for what was going to happen because I now didn't have this thing, I went and bought another phone. But I still didn't desire to have it, so I bought one of those cheap little flip phones. Really cheap, old school, $80. So I did that, and after 4 days, I was mad again because I started doing this thing again. Every time it vibrated, every time it went off, I felt like I had to look at it. Something was important. Something was more important than what I was doing, okay? And that made me mad, so I snapped it and threw it in the pool in front of a ton of people. Not a ton of people in my family, but I did that, and it looked like I was going crazy, guys. I wanted to turn the TV off all the time. I was trying to literally remove all distractions from my life, and in a extreme way, everything. I became what people refer to as a minimalist, like really fast. Because I just didn't want things anymore because I didn't understand their purpose in my life. And I mean anything, guys. Which became a distraction in itself because I was so busy trying to get rid of these things that instead of just letting it be and accepting the way that it was, I had to fix how I was feeling. So I acted. I donated probably 80% of my clothes. Attempted to sell my electronics. That didn't work. Nobody wanted them, which was cool, whatever. I mean, people wanted them. They just didn't want to pay for them. And, you know, I had someone in my life who was like, calm down. Like, you paid a lot of money for that at some point. Just wait and see what's happening. Which I'm glad I did because I still use these things sometimes now. But beds, like, I got rid of those. Which is still something that I do. Like, I'm more comfortable with what I'm sleeping on now. It's just an air mattress. I'm comfortable with it, though, because I can just move it and just whenever I want. It's not like something that, if I feel like I need to go, I don't have to take a ton of stuff with me now, which is cool. But yeah, I was just getting rid of stuff left and right. Anything that looked like a distraction, I wanted to get rid of it. Even if it was just a vase of flowers between me and you, I wanted that out of the way. So I would do that. I would get that out of the way. Like, I just want to see what's going on. So when I threw that phone in the pool, that also made people uncomfortable. They still didn't have a way to contact me. So I ended up with this third phone. Since this one was a gift, it was way harder to discard. But I was able to look at myself and say, you know, even though I have this, I can control it. It doesn't have to control me. So, yeah, now I have a phone. Cool. And the way it happened, like, it's really cool, but... So, yeah, that was a distraction. Now, the third one that I'm seeing is this distraction of fear of possibility, which they got really good at showing us and getting us involved in. If you're scared of something, this is how I'm seeing it. So yeah, if you're scared of something, you're going to listen more because you want to understand it. So what they got us to do is look at the volcano and wait for it to explode, because they kept telling us when it explodes, this is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to feel. It's going to bring death. So we started to fear it. So we started to watch it. Okay? And we're just sitting here waiting for this thing to explode, actively trying to make it not. I don't know how you do that with a volcano, guys. I don't. But us, we want to survive, so we're going to try to solve the problem. So we're just watching this volcano, waiting for it to go off. And the people who keep telling us, hey, yeah, this volcano is going to explode, are sitting behind us, doing this to us, and playing us like puppets. And we're just so scared that we're just looking at this volcano. Now, what is our current volcano? A big one that I'm seeing right now is this climate change, global warming debate that's going on, which is nothing wrong with the debate. Like, if that's something that's happening, then yeah, have the appropriate people take the appropriate steps to try to solve this problem. Am I saying that it's not happening? Again, I don't know, guys, because that's not the path I took. I didn't care enough about what could happen to spend my time, energy, and, you know, on that. So can I speak on fact for that? No. Or even theory? No. I mean, I can give you a theory because I know a little bit of science. Like, in my mind, when you're doing something so fast, it creates friction, right? So the going is going to create heat. So how I see that our actions are just going, it makes sense to me that there will be consequences, which could be literal heat. That's just a theory, though. But does it scare me? No. Because there is a possibility for it to stop, if that is what's happening. So no, I don't let that control me. I'll look at it. When people put up videos, I look at it because I want to understand it better. Like, what is it about this that's scaring people? But at the same time, while I'm looking at this, I'm paying attention about what's going on behind me. So I'm watching how everyone's fighting over this, but these people back here are like, all right, what are we going to do now? They're planning for something else while you're planning for this. Which, again, is not bad. But if you make anything the 18 hours of your 24 hours, that's going to be your life. I don't want global warming and climate change to be my life. If it happens, like, yeah, that sucks. But I radically accept that. Not radically accept to the point where I'm not going to make changes. Like, guys, I looked at it. I was like, how can I make CO2 come out of the atmosphere? I was looking at plants. Because, like, I lived in the desert. So I was like, I can't just go plant, like, a pine tree. So I was looking at this stuff. Like, I was researching it. But that just wasn't my path. If it's yours, cool. But don't be afraid of it, guys. Waiting for it to explode all the time is just going to paralyze you. Fight, flight, or freeze. We're fighting and freezing. That's what we're doing. So those are the distractions. So the three big ones that I'm seeing right now. But honestly, anything that you let be a distraction will be a distraction. The one that I said I'm expecting is I do expect somebody to come open my door right now because something's happening, but we plan for that. So distractions are a big one because they're all around us. There's this quote I liked. I can't do it word for word because I didn't pay that much attention to it, but it was something along the lines of what you're focusing on is going to become your identity. Which is cool. Just know what you want it to be your identity. And don't be afraid of what might happen. Actively work to prevent it if that's what you want to do, but don't be afraid of it, guys. Because when we're afraid, that's what paralyzes us. That's what makes us not look around us anymore. Because we're just focused on that. This is going to explode. I can't see anything else. I don't know. That's just my opinion, obviously. Everything I say is my opinion. Again, the only thing I think I can speak on as fact is my experiences. My experience with the climate change is that I can't not see it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's two sides. I always question their motives. Always. The people who keep saying, like, this is not true. Like, I look, what's your background? Why is it so important for me to believe that this isn't happening? You know? Look a little deeper into who's telling you these things. Is there financial gain in them not having me actively work to prevent this? That's a big one. If there's money behind it, guys, that's always it. Always. Money is the biggest motivator and controller. I let go of that one too. Guys, I don't have a cent to my name, and I feel like the most prosperous person on the planet right now because I don't care. And I'll get my labels for that. Moocher, freeloader. Like, I'm gonna get my labels for that, but I'm not going to accept them because I know who I am and what I'm doing. And I know, guys, I know I have the ability and opportunity to make a lot of money. A lot of money. I don't want it. And if I did get it, I'm honestly just going to get rid of it again, guys, because I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like that when I have big numbers in my bank account, I feel the need to go shop and buy things and spend that because I was always afraid of what could happen, that one day I can't spend this. So now I've worked so hard for this, so now I have to spend it, so that just became my distraction. And I didn't like that feeling either. So yeah, I got rid of money. And I'm still alive. I'm okay. I am okay. Had everybody done that right now, like, yeah, that would be totally cool. Again, if we stop acting, the system will crash. But if only the people around me, just like the instant people around me, decided to do that also, then yeah, we would be on the streets because that's just the environment we live in now. But that was a sacrifice that I was willing to make, guys. In order to get rid of these distractions, I was willing to be homeless. I went for long walks. I've slept outside, like, because people would tell me, hey, if you want things, you have to work for it. I didn't like the work, the doing what somebody else told me for their financial gain. I didn't like that feeling. So I was like, okay, then I don't want it. I don't want it. I'll leave. It's fine. I don't want you to feel bad about it. If that's what I decide, then that's what I decide. I didn't want any distractions, and I was willing to make any sacrifice to get rid of those distractions. Fortunately, I have people in my life who do care about my well-being because, guys, being on the street is not fun. Finding a place to sleep where somebody's not going to violate you is kind of scary. It is a strange experience. But, so yeah, obviously people in my life are like, hey, I have a room. Come figure out what you're figuring out and you can have shelter. And I earn my shelter, guys. I do. I don't think you should just, if somebody provides you with shelter, that you should just take advantage of that. So I do my part. Okay? What that looks like is not your business. That's between me and the people providing me shelter. So, but guys, if something makes you not feel good and you don't want that distraction more, if working a 9 to 5 makes you feel like I'm wasting my life, then don't work a 9 to 5. You don't have to. And I understand the ones who have like families, like it's way harder because like if I want to check out, or I want to get rid of these things, but if I do that, there will be consequences to my actions, which is true, guys. That's what I like about parents, is you guys do think about the consequences to your actions because you know it's going to affect your partner and children. I don't like that, you're not able to make the decisions you truly want at the moment. Hopefully we'll get to that point. But I understand that right now people are doing what they feel they need to do. And that's fine, guys. We all have our path. This one just happened to be mine. So that's my view on distractions. I'm going to end this one, and then I'm going to go directly into labels. Cool?